Welcome to the Bucket List Buster Travel Show. Your Bucket List Buster Travel Show helps you make your bucket list dreams come true. Host Karen Duncan spent decades running the travel business. She, along with other industry experts, share their knowledge, travel stories, and wisdom about how to travel, where to travel, and how to have a stress-free adventure. Tune in, give yourself permission to focus on yourself, create lifelong memories with families and friends, and finally learn to relax, rejuvenate, and reconnect. And here's the host of your show, Karen Duncan.
Aloha, buenos dias, ni hao, yahate, bula, guten tag, bonjour, jumbo, boa tarde, everything's Irie, and good afternoon. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Hey, what's up out there, you bucket list busters? This is Karen Duncan, your host of your Bucket List Busters. I am so happy to be here today. It's another wonderful day in paradise right here in San Carlos, Panama. That's where I am now. And it's all about being an expat today on the show. We have a guest. We had him on earlier in the year, and due to technical difficulties, the interview did not come through. So I needed to make sure that we had Joaquin Arias back with us, who is the sales director for one of the beautiful beachfront properties here in Panama. And he's going to talk about buying property international. Actually, is what it is. Buying property in Panama or anywhere else for that matter. And he gives us some really good tips about what you need to look for, what you need to be careful of when you're purchasing abroad. And I think you're going to enjoy that. Plus, he's going to tell you a lot about El Palmar, the property that he is managing and is in the process of selling the two phases. Also on today's show, we are going to talk about travel news. We got some, travel news can really be a downer nowadays because there's so much going on, like the CDC and measles. There's a report out that I need to tell you guys about. We've got specials this week with my favorite vendor and my particular bucket list, Tahiti and Paul Gauguin. Chicago is going to make travel trends. That's where I was originally born. We've got travel news, of course, sponsored by Peaks Cruises and Tours, that also talks about American Airlines is running into some issues this summer. So if you are a frequent flyer on American Airlines or you've got something booked on American Airlines, you'll want to stay tuned and listen to what's going on with them. Then we've got, of course, our group trips. The Wireless Traveler is back with women's soccer. They are really excited about this. So I can't wait to tell you what's going on with tech tips this week. And then, of course, we have the additional places to travel for our LGBTQ friends and family, because this is Pride Month and we celebrate because we are all inclusive. And I want to make sure that everybody knows where we can all go party this summer and have a good time. Well, it's winter time here where I am, or rainy season, which is the opposite of what I lived with in Chicago. But anyway, you get the gist. So if you're new to the show, I'm Karen Duncan. I am in the travel business, been a travel agent, owned our own business for over 24 years now. We specialize in groups. We specialize in customizing your bucket list experience. And I also have been hosting this show now 4 years. I started off in Austin, Texas on AM radio and then went to podcasting. And since then, the fact that I can do this live from anywhere allows me to move around the world. I love to travel. I believe that everyone should have an experience of a lifetime at least once in their lives. But I truly believe that if we don't relax, rejuvenate, and reconnect by disconnecting, we're going to lose a lot of people early in life. We've got to get out there and just totally have some leisure time for ourselves, with our friends and our family. Have experiences instead of buying stuff all the time. Material things are way too overrated. But anyway, let's talk about where everybody is listening from this week. I like to start out by giving shout outs to people that are listening to me all over the world, since that is something we have the ability to do with podcasting, is connect with our listeners all over. So we've got folks in the United States. Shout out to my homies in the United States. Australia, love you guys. I know who this is. Love you, love you. We had Australia on the show last week with Grant Smith. We met him on a cruise that we went to. He and his lovely wife and some best friends of theirs. And now we've got listeners all the way from Australia. Germany's in the house. Thank you so much, Germany. Barbados, no, I love you. Panama, of course. New Zealand, United Kingdom, Canada, Austria, and now Italy. Welcome. Bon. And to let you know where the cities are that these folks are listening from: Westerville, Ohio, Southport, Australia, Miami, Florida, Mountain View, California, Kapalaba, I hope I said this right, Kapalaba, Australia, Orlando, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Austin, Texas in the house, Ridgecrest, California, and Sherman Oaks, California. Loving you guys. Thank you so much for taking your time out and listening to my little podcast. I love it to death. I love connecting with you guys every week. And I hope you enjoy the show. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to start with this week's special. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster. I shall be back in a minute.
Why stay local when you can go global?
It's gonna be free right about now.
With Norwegian Cruise Line, you can shift out of traffic and into vacation mode. Before you know it, you'll be free at sea. What is free at sea? It's your choice of up to 5 free offers, like free unlimited open bar, free shore excursions, and more. So sail to the Caribbean, Alaska, or Hawaii and vacay your way, only on Norwegian.
To book your Norwegian cruise, contact Peaks Cruises and Tours at 512-529-3696 today. Welcome back to your Bucket List Buster. Karen Duncan here, your host. I don't know if you noticed, but we've got a new partner that's advertising with us right now. Norwegian Cruise Line has come on board. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of our little show. And if you don't know, I love Norwegian. We've got some great group trips coming up with them this coming year in 2020. So if you're interested, you need to contact us so we can tell you all about it. We'll tell you about it a little bit later in the show. But what's going on special this week is Tahiti for the holidays. So Tahiti's time frame is a lot like ours here in Panama, where our summer is the United States winter. So if you're looking for a place to go for the holidays, there is a savings of up to $1,900 per person on Paul Gauguin. That's on the top of our 50% off brochure, fares plus included round-trip airfare from Los Angeles or San Francisco. The holidays are a great time to relax with friends and family. And what better way to relax with loved ones than on the beach in the South Pacific? I totally agree. Moana Explorers Family Program is also available on these sailings for those that are traveling with children. And there is a special single traveler offer available now. So if you're interested in Tahiti, and I like Paul Gauguin particularly because Paul Gauguin is a smaller ship. It's more intimate, only 200 and some odd passengers. on the ship, and it's very intimate and upper scale, I would say. Great food. Your drinks are included. You get to go into areas of Tahiti that the larger ships cannot go into. You get to just jump right off the back of the ship if you want to get in the water and use their catamarans or their jet skis. It's a really different experience being on the Paul Gauguin. So if you're interested, that is a great way. And then, of course, as our commercial indicated, Norwegian Cruise Line is still offering their Free at Sea, which gives you an option of free drink package, Wi-Fi, funds toward excursions, free third and fourth passengers, and specialty dining. So depending on your room category, you qualify for all of those or at least two of those. So that's a really good deal too. Let me just tell you, the drink package can be upwards of $1,000 per person. So depending on what your level of adult beverages are per day when you're on vacation, it's going to be worth the money. So let's just talk about it. So what's happening in segment travel trends? Chicago River Architecture Tour is second only to the Vatican in popularity. According to Travel Advisors released the Traveler's Choice Awards for Experiences this past Tuesday. And Chicago, thank you Chicago, I knew it was fabulous, now everybody else does. The Vatican beat out the Shoreline Sightseeing Architecture River Cruise in the top 10 Traveler's Choice Awards for Experiences for 2019. And other entries in the TripAdvisor list included tours offered in Paris, Las Vegas, New Zealand, and Amsterdam. And it's not just about the waters or even the boats and the buildings. It's about the guides that take you on, that explain what you're looking at when you go on this particular cruise. These people are from Chicago. They know the history of these buildings. They know the history of the city, and they make it a really wonderful experience for you to go through and look at the architecture. You know, that's why a lot of us go to Europe, is to see the different architecture, because it's so different than what we see in the United States. But I guarantee you that you will love seeing some of these period buildings that were built years and years ago when Chicago was first coming online as being a major hub. Right there on Lake Michigan is it's fabulous. It's totally fabulous. I grew up there, and I will tell you, that was the one thing that I missed desperately when I left home to go to college, because I missed the waterfront and I missed the powerfulness, I don't even know how to explain it, of the architectures and the buildings right there on that lake. It's a wonderful thing. Right there in Chicago. Plus, the food is amazing, so you can't go wrong. And shopping is amazing. So, what else is going on in travel trends? Well, it's Pride Month. Celebrating Pride all over the world has become a really amazing adventure. Because, as you probably know, there were some places, and still are some places, that don't recognize same-sex marriage, they don't recognize same-sex couples, and it can be a big deal, and it can still be dangerous in some parts of the world. So what we're trying to do this month is highlight some of those countries that have either been advocates of LGBTQ or are coming online, and I want our friends and family to know that we're embracing them, we love them, and we want you to be safe, and we want you to have as much fun as anybody else in this world, because everybody deserves that right to be equal. So, Puerto Rico. Yep, Puerto Rico is back. One of the more gay-friendly places in the Caribbean. It's open for business, it's safe, and it is a fabulous, beautiful country to visit. It's one of my favorite places. What's more, there are some really fabulous places such as Culebra, that are relatively undiscovered in Puerto Rico. Taipei is another one.